So, how big was it for you? First off, it's like a two-part question. One,
Yeah.
how did you, and I've heard this from a lot of people, yes, getting your own clients is great, but that's just a churn fest. How did you end up getting hooked up with an agency? Because I'm sure that was like beautiful reoccurring revenue. Can you explain that, how you got that connection and how that kind of changed your freelance work? And then we'll hop into something else.
Yeah, cool. So the agency for any freelancer here, which I imagine there are quite a few, um, once you like get hooked up with an agency and an agency like attaches themselves to you as a freelancer, like that's a great like relationship. Agencies look for talent, freelancers are looking for work. Once the agency finds a freelancer, it's kind of like friends with benefits sort of relationship where they kind of um they're able to the freelancer's like, just give me a lot of money and I'll do great and for great work and I'm happy because I'm looking for other clients as well. The agency is like, I don't have to hire you as an employee and pay benefits and the taxes and all this stuff and stuff, blah, 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 blah. I just like get to write you off as an expense.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, that's kind of the nature of it. But if they find a good freelancer, they'll keep them on board for a long time and just send you work nonstop.
But
Sometimes,
how did you get
I,
hooked on with them? Did they find you or did you find them? How did that
yeah.
work?
So it's all through relationships. And so I found it. I got connected to an agency through when I worked at a studio. I was I worked well with one of the designers. He's a really good designer, and I always loved coding up his work because it was I
Yeah.
understood what he was trying to envision, and I was able to code that up really well. And so we always worked well together. We were kind of buddies. And then when I quit, around the same time he quit, but he went to a different agency, and I just went freelancing. And
Yeah.
this agency was more of a creative agency, advertising agency. They didn't do any web work. And there's still a lot of agencies who do this today. And they realize there's a lot of market like in building web design work, like web-based work, not just doing advertising campaigns and creative work. So they were like, okay, well, we need like a web designer. We need someone who can build our designs. And
Right.
so this guy who was their head designer was like, I know just the guy. And so he contacted me and said, hey, Brad, we are getting into web work and here's the mock-up that we're trying to code, like we're trying to make. I designed it. I know you can do it. Like I'm super confident that you are the right person for this. So I need you to quote this. And so, you know, new freelancer me, like I turned around with some like ridiculous $2,000 quote. And I was like, $2,000. It's going to take me 5 days or something. And I thought I was like being a really good business person.
Yeah.
And so he turns around and he's like, um, okay, first of all, I know that you can do this. I'm excited about potentially having you do this for us, but I have to tell you, like, you have to at least double, triple, or add another zero to that quote because we have like two or three other agencies who are development studios, and they're like quoting like $30,000 and $40,000 for this same thing. So they're not going to take you seriously. They're going to think that you're a joke, and they're going to laugh you out
Mm.
of the room. So do yourself a favor, make that quote
Add
way
another
bigger,
zero.
add another zero, whatever it is, then they'll take you seriously. And so I was like, that's weird, also exciting. So I looked through it and I was like, okay, maybe I should. And that's why I didn't add a zero, but I made it way, way, way bigger, probably 10,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, at least I'm in the five-figure digits now. And I turned around, sent it to him, and he's like, perfect. It was a no-brainer. Everybody's excited. So that opened my eyes up. And then that led to more and more and more work. Now, here's the trick with agencies. Once you get connected with somebody at an agency and that account manager really likes working with you and you develop a good professional relationship, they inevitably quit and go to another agency. That's just the nature of what they do. They look for better
Yeah.
opportunities. So now I got this agency and I'm doing work for them. This one, I moved with them to this agency. Now I also got this agency. And then they move over here and I got this agency. So I got like two or three or four agencies all sending me big projects, big work, fast turnaround, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And so that's a great income source as a freelancer.
I love that 100% because Us, the people who want to jump into freelance, and why I asked that question, I had no idea. This is also why I like live stuff, because we get to get into conversation. I don't know at all. Like, I know a little bit, but then until we like hop in,
Yeah.
um, I like that. I need a gif of me doing that. Anyways, that'll end up in the wrong parts of the internet. But I think that's really important, because a lot of people who want to be freelancers, they do it because they love the design side of things. They really don't want to be touching the business side of things. They'd really rather have a middleman pull in the work for them to just do their craft. They don't want a lot of back and forth. They don't want those. They want control, do their craft, and have somebody else deal with the managerial stuff.
Yeah.
And I think building the relationships, like you said, you kind of worked somewhere. I would be really curious, and I would highly recommend, because sometimes a lot of people don't have those relationships. Like in my case, where I had to kind of build my portfolio first, then kind of reach out to people, because it was like reverse. I didn't know how to network. I had to figure that out, where it was just like I just had to have a really good. I had to find agencies or people who I wanted to work with, create the things that I knew that they would like to see in my portfolio, reach out to them, say, hey, I see you guys work on this type of stuff. By the way, here's my portfolio. I've been working on the same type of stuff. I know it's going to be good because I've literally looked at everybody you work with, make sure it's that type of quality. And they're like, oh, he works on stuff that we need for our clients. And I just made sure I did my research, that I know when they look at my stuff, they're going to be like, oh, he fits right in. Like, having those relationships are like key to really like everything. And that really also for you guys, because we're gonna whatchamacallit? Sorry for the spam in the chat, guys.
Chicken McFry, chicken McNugget.
Calm it
out of here.
down. Calm it down. At least I have some good filters, though. I'm not gonna lie. There was some other things popping in the chat a couple months ago. Anyway, we got 10 minutes left. There was some really good questions I want to ask.
Yes.
But the last thing I will say was also for your course stuff. Like, a lot of things that this is just me thinking, kind of just summarizing everything we've talked about. The course stuff, creating content, is the reason why you're working with EditRx. Why a lot of people saw you as a brand name to go to get their work done. And a lot of designers right now, they're just like, my work is king. And it's just like, right now, like, I am not the best designer at all, but my face and the relationships and the content that I've produced have, just like yours, has gotten the attention of people. And they want educators. They want people who are able to break down ideas, to teach people things. And like the economy we're in right now, and if you guys are interested not just in courses, but if you're interested in doing what Brad is doing educational content for brands, like, they are looking for faces. Like, if you are really good at teaching, if you're really good at a skill, like, all these brands are looking for community leaders to say to a community, hey, this is our product, this is how it's used to its maximum capability. If that's something of interest to you, like, start creating your portfolio of content, like, and that will be your portfolio, just as it was for Brad when he was picked out of the litter to be like, hey, we need educators for EditRx, community leads. Like, we need somebody with your charisma, somebody with your expertise, somebody that knows how to teach. And he was snatched up. Like, and this is just the beginning. So if you guys want to, just not courses, content-wise, will explode your work and your brand for the future to come. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So, all right.
No, it's
outside of, go ahead.
Oh, it's right. It's like creating, like, that's where you get to be you. It's like, you can't, like, you don't have to be the best designer, because if you're competing on being the best designer, someone's gonna be a better designer than you. Always. Right. It's always the case. It's just, but if you compete on just being yourself, doing your thing, no one can copy that, because as soon as someone's like copying it, people are like, you're just copying this guy or this girl. Like, it's like,
right.
You can't compete on that. You're in a market of one.
Exactly. All right, so I went to Igor. My bad. We were in our conversation, so I think you've read a little bit of this, Brad. But we got 4 questions here from Igor, and thank you, by the way, Igor, for dropping your questions. Anybody else who has questions, please follow suit.
Yeah.
Drop them in the chat so we can read them out. Okay, so first one, in your opinion, is it better to create one large and long course or several short, narrowly focused courses?
Rapid fire answer.
Yes.
Okay. Depends on the format. If it's Udemy, they want giant courses. That's like that's their game. Giant courses. It's got more content. It's higher value in their eyes. That's how the market sees it. If they're looking for budget courses and you pay $10, $20, $30 and you get like a 30-hour course, that's going to beat out the same priced course that's 2 hours. That's just the name of the game. Play the game or lose the game. That's how that works. If it's for your own audience, long form courses and long form stuff generally doesn't do that well because people are in it to get a specific outcome. So for me, when I create a course independently and I want to sell it to, say, the Creative X crew or you guys, or we team up on something, if I can teach you how to be an amazing designer and build a sick Editor X site in 2 hours, that's 500 hours.
Okay. Whew, you lagged out a little bit, but I think you came through.
Did I come through?
Yes. We have a little bit of the Wi-Fi. They don't want all these gems out into the air.
No,
but I think we got everything loud and clear. Yeah, they're cutting us off now. It's because we brought the Huss coin into existence. That's why I was trying to get shut down.
We're disrupting.
I hope you guys liked this episode. If you did, you can find more build from scratch website tutorials with me right here, or you can find more Editor X tips and tricks in this playlist over here. With that said, I hope to see you guys in another video. And of course, if you liked this episode and what we're doing here on this channel, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.